Hello, my name is Collection Connoisseur. I collect digital thingamabobs and video games. Today I'm playing Monster Train. This time on Monster Train, we will hope to complete another expert challenge. Last time we did the Fragile Collection. The next challenge is Steward Stack. Powered up stewards that you won't want to play. Alright, so we start with 2 additional trained stewards and advanced prototype. But non-champion units cost +2. However, we start with Sketches of Salvation. Okay, you know, that one doesn't seem so bad. So we're going to be playing as the Wurmkin as our primary clan. And I am going to pick the primary Wurmkin champion, the Spine Chief. Part of the reason there is that the only level 3 champion upgrade that I have not done is one for this particular champion, the Spine Chief. For the Wurmkin, the only clan combination that we've not won on the max Covenant rank is Wurmkin Umbra. Primary... Do I want Plank or Shade Splitter? Let's stay with Plank. Alright, so we've got Fracture and Plank with the Spine Chief on Steward Stack. Let's go. Echo Snare, Mind Collapse, and Forgotten Trade. Interesting that none of these have like a normal cost. They're all either 0 or X. I do like having Mind Collapse because that gives us some direct damage, which is good to have, especially when our units cost more. Forgotten Trade, I like sometimes. Don't know if I'll like it this time. Seraph the Temperant, friendly units enter with Sap 3. That's annoying. Alright, let's see what we've got. So I do really like starting with Sketches of Salvation. An advanced prototype basically makes it so that the first few battles are easy. So we're really just thinking about the battles after the first few. And there it is, the Decayer. The Decayer is the only champion upgrade that I've not gone to level 3 on. So we're definitely picking that. Ooh, Serrated Mandibles. Serrated Mandibles works with what we just did. Guild Marker is really nice to start with, but I think I've got to take Serrated Mandibles here. It's just too nice with what we want to do with our champion anyway. Alright, first battle. And Mark of Invasion. I don't really like the Mark of Invasion, but I do want to turn it on. The middle floor will be no problem. I guess we've got Mind Collapse and Plinks. Okay, yeah, let's turn it on. So the middle floor, we're going to defeat everything in the middle floor already. The top floor, we could do a Plink and play our Spine Chief up there. Actually, if we do a Plink, will the Serrated Mandibles kill the other one? I'm gonna try it. Nope. Oh no! My morsels cost 2. Oh no! A simple plan is not very good with morsels. Oh, the Umbra was maybe not the best clan choice? Apparently. How sad. I wanted to put the Spine Chief at the bottom because of adding Reap, but I think I'm going to put it at the top now. But we are going to put a Rubble Morsel first so it gets the Ember Drain. Oh, how sad. My morsels are terrible. Well, I feel like I've already made a mistake in my clan combination. So Echo Snare could basically defeat... Oh, they don't defeat them because we don't have a an Echo down here yet. Alright, well, I guess we're going to do Fracture on you, which will also kill those. Mind Collapse, we could kill something. We could play Echo Snare again. We can even play a Plink. Oh my gosh. Alright, there's too many things that we can do. Let's play Plink first. The Morsel Excavator I'm going to play at the top. We've got another Morsel in the deck that costs too much. And then, I guess there's no reason not to play Echo Snare here. We don't really need to keep it in the deck. Alright, the first Train Steward in line is going to die next turn. And then... I mean, we have a lot of Ember if we want it, I guess. I don't really want to play the Plinks. We won't play the Plinks. Because I don't want the Morsels in my deck. Alright, so we do want to Fracture you. We kind of want to Mind Collapse the Trusted Priest. So what if we do Fracture... Actually, we don't need to Mind Collapse the Trusted Priest because the Fracture already hit it, thanks to Serrated Mandibles. So I guess we just do 2 damage to you? Sure, whatever. Let's see if we win in the center. I feel like we should. Yeah, we are easily winning in the center, actually. Great. So, my Plinks are terrible. Anything that requires morsels is also terrible. That's a problem. Soul Siphon is really good if you start with it. Proclamation at least has Infused. And I like Echo Infusion. If it was Infused, I would definitely take it. I think because of what we're doing with our champion, we really prefer to have Infused cards. So I'm going to take the Infused card. Mostly because of my champion. So we don't want Making of a Morsel. Space Prism isn't bad. Crucible Extension is a Space Prism that sticks around, and it's infused. I guess we'll take it. I don't exactly know what we're doing yet. Kind of don't want to go to an Umbra banner, because the unit might involve morsels. So we're going to go to a Wurmkin banner, because we're going to try to get kind of as few Umbra things as we can. So Eternal Stone could take Consume off of something. I mean, we might do that, but I kind of doubt we're going to. Extreme Stone. Extreme Stone goes really well on Proclamation. The Seek Stone would have been good if I took the thing that I did not take last time. Right. Anyway. We really want the Plinks gone, but we need to replace them with things that are also infused. Okay, let's see what our Wurmkin unit is. So, I kind of like having a sweep unit in the center, but also I really like the Inspire effect. So I think I'm going to take the Shard Soul Carver. It's kind of the better thing for Sketches of Salvation in general, I think. So let's take it. And we do need to remove Train Stewards. I am aware of this. Extreme Stone we're going to put on Proclamation. There we go. Proclamation is now good. Seek Stone I don't think we're going to take. Merchant of Magic. Don't really want the Eternal Stone. Power Stone we could power up one of the Mind Collapses. Let's do that. Ember Stone, I really want that on Crucible Extension or Fracture? Crucible Extension or Fracture? Let's... I don't know which one I actually want that on. Let's put it on Crucible Extension. Okay, and let's purge... As much as I want to purge the Plinks, I feel like we have to purge Train Stewards so that we've got better things in the center eventually. But the Plinks are really bad right now. You know what? I'm going to remove a Plink. I'm only going to remove one right here, though. And let's move on. Remember, the first couple are easy because we've got really good train stewards. Conduit Redirector is annoying for our train stewards, and I do want a unit draft. When we've got Sketches of Salvation, we definitely want unit drafts. Okay, so the Spine Chief is going at the bottom, because it's really good at the bottom. We can use the Mind Collapse to kill this one. So let's do that. That'll save a lot of health. We're going to play Fracture and Echo Snare. Echo Snare. I guess we can do the Mind Collapse first. Kill this one so that when we play Fracture, the random reap goes on one of the ones that are remaining. Preferably that one, but oh well. And then we don't really need to play Forgotten Trade. And we might want to in the future, so I'm not going to play it now. Alright. The Collector is at the top. We could plink the Collector. We're probably going to. I wouldn't mind playing a Train Steward somewhere, but I think I'm going to plink the Collector. We get a Morsel Jeweler. I mean, as much as I want the Morsel Jeweler to be played down here, I think better to play the Crucible Extension and apply Reap. Because kind of the point of our champion right now is to apply lots of Reap to the bottom floor. And then the middle floor can do so much more, because the champion has reduced the units. Okay, these particular cards are not very helpful to me. Let's do this just to put some echoes in the center. And I guess we inspire you. That's good too. Okay, we have actually some good stuff. Proclamation deals 200 damage. Very sad that we can't hit the Last Night of the Disciples with that. Oh well. But we'll play Proclamation first. Alright, and now we just play a whole bunch of Reap, I guess. And I guess we can play a Blink. Might kill the back one. Okay, might kill the back one. There we go. And then a Fracture. Alright, you know, 80 damage, not too bad, especially because the second floor is the floor where things really happen. And we're winning very easily. Great. First two battles were easy. I think they start to get hard after this one, though. Ooh, Bounding Echoes is infused, and it applies infused to other cards. I like that. I don't know if we want Immortal Trade. I tend to like having Immortal Trade, but the problem is when we play our cards. I mean, kind of. Our cards don't really cost much. We've got Forgotten Trade. Actually, let's do it. So I like seeing First of Kin, because First of Kin is a pretty decent one with Sketches of Salvation. The unit essence of it is not amazing, though. It just has a nice 30-55 body to start with. What is the unit essence of the other one that we took? Okay, interesting. It is perfectly sacrificable if we get to the point that we're sacrificing a unit, which we probably will, but I'm not sure. So, First of Kin, we take that one. Now, a Wurmkin banner unit, let's go that way. We want those Wurmkin units, basically. Divine Temple, I see a True Stone and a Value Stone. What do we have that costs 2? I mean, we did have Crucible Extension. So, the Value Stone we're not going to get. True Stone goes really well on a Mind Collapse, so I think I'm going to put it on the Mind Collapse. Just do that immediately. Let's look at the Wurmkin banner first. Ho-ho, Keeper of Echoes. Really like that Inspire effect with Sketches of Salvation, so we're definitely taking that. And then... when can we remove units? We can remove units there. Okay, and we can duplicate there. Okay. I think we've got a pretty good set of things. My main problem is, how do we upgrade our units before we duplicate them? Because we don't really go to that Merchant of Steel if we're going to that Unstable Vortex. I guess this is where we actually upgrade our units. Huh. And we might upgrade them there. We're not upgrading units very much. That's the thing that I like the least about what we're doing. So, let's go to Concealed Caverns. The Blacksmith. Do I want one of these? So I definitely really don't want the Spike Driver Colony. Because it costs extra? Oh my gosh. In some ways I want it because we've never Divinity Mastered it. In other ways I don't want it because it's terrible. In this particular challenge, it could be chosen by Sketches of Salvation to end up in the center, which would be bad. I don't know if I want either of these, actually. I think if I took the Spike Driver Colony, we would lose, and therefore I'm not going to take it. And I don't think the automatic rail spikes are really that wonderful right now. Let's take nothing. Weird, but let's take nothing. Probably the first time I've taken nothing there, and it feels bad. You know, Fossilized Fangs is almost pointless. Decayed Decoy works with Serrated Mandibles and my champion. Let's take Decayed Decoy. So, Divine Temple... See, I could do the Engaged Pact already. Especially if we're going to duplicate next time. Are we going to duplicate next time? Not next time. When we duplicate, there is a Divine Temple. So let's not sacrifice yet. I don't know exactly what I want to sacrifice yet. So we're not yet going to sacrifice. Talos attacks every turn and pushes attack units back. Weird. Interesting. Let's go. I think that my champion is going to have a hard time surviving at the bottom, but still, it seems like the only good place to put it. We don't get to play the first of kin, ever. Alright. Bounding Echoes is not great this turn. So, we play the Spine Chief. Play the Spine Chief. Play up Blink. Got rid of your Spell Shield. Play a Fracture. Let's see here. You've got 3 Reap. When we play this, you're going to get 3 more Reap. So you're going to have 6 Reap. So you'll die pretty easily. If I target you, you definitely die. If I don't target you, you still die. How about that? And then we don't really need to play Bounding Echoes, so I won't. We'll save it for the future. Alright, it's kind of cool for this guy to lose all of his damage shield and then be pushed back. Kind of like that. Proclamation we could play at the bottom. We can actually play Forgotten Trade in order to play more cards, like a Keeper of Echoes, which would be pretty useful at the bottom, honestly. Okay, let's play Forgotten Trade. Forgotten Trade, and then we can play the Keeper of Echoes at the bottom, because this is where we typically want to inspire anyway. And it protects my champion, because I think the champion is more valuable. And then Proclamation, kill that front one. Apply lots of Reap to everyone else. Sadly, that one made it up. Oh, right. You're going to get pushed back, aren't you? How sad. So Immortal Trade is pretty interesting, primarily because I have other ways to get Ember in my deck. So I might do Immortal Trade on my champion. Let's do it. Immortal Trade on my champion. And then fracture the boss a couple times. Play a Plink. Keeper of Echoes now does not die. The Plinks are actually better than the Shade Splitter, because the Plinks deal damage, and the Shade Splitter only gives you morsels, which you won't want to play in this challenge. Okay, we don't have much Ember this turn, which does not matter. Let's Mind Collapse this one. And then Echo Snare doesn't do a lot at the bottom, so let's just not play it at the bottom. Let's play it on the boss. Because applying more Reap to the boss seems like a good thing to do for the future. Okay, how's the center doing? You're getting hurt and then pushed back. That's not too bad. Mind Collapse can kill you and give us more Ember, so that's nice. Let's do the Crucible Extension here. You know what? The Crucible Extension is not very good. Why did I put this in my deck? Okay. The fact that we're not really going to be playing our units eventually means that Crucible Extension really doesn't do much. I want to play a Fracture on the boss. Fracture on the boss. I want to play Mind Collapse down here to kill this one. And then you're already dying, so might as well do the rest here. Plink and more Fracture on the boss. Boss is taking 150 damage this turn. How about that? I think we might be winning next turn. We are already winning next turn. We're winning with Reap, it looks like. So click end turn and win. Yeah, the boss kills everything, but then the Reap takes her out. Okay, well, Wretch doesn't do anything for me. Forever Consumed isn't amazing. Umberstone is not what I particularly want. Let's skip. We want another Shard Soul Carver, probably. It has a really good sacrifice, whereas the First of Kin does not. So let's take a Shard Soul Carver with the intent to sacrifice this one, probably to the First of Kin. So, there's no reason to get Light of Seraph. Bell's Remorse is fine, but I think Herzl's Compound is just going to be better for us, as it typically is. Okay, we're going to the right because we want to see Wurmkin units plenty of times, and we want to remove cards. Right? On the other side, there's a Merchant of Steel, which would be good for us. Merchant of Steel would be good for us. And we're not going to go to the next Merchant of Steel if we're removing there. Probably want to duplicate whatever thing I'm sacrificing in the next one. I'm thinking about not going to the Unstable Vortex this time. Let's think about what we have. We've got, other than Train Stewards, we've got 2 Shard Soul Carvers, a Keeper of Echoes, and a First of Kin. The Keeper of Echoes is probably the thing that we want more of. And we are very happy to sacrifice Shard Soul Carvers. So we're probably going to sacrifice a Shard Soul Carver to a Keeper of Echoes, and then duplicate the Keeper of Echoes. And that'll mean that we still have 4 things other than Train Stewards. But we still have to remove 6 Train Stewards. I think I really want to upgrade units, is the thing. And it's better to do that here if we want to duplicate next time. So let's go to the left and really hope that the Merchant of Steel has some good stuff for me, because I made this decision really depending on the Merchant of Steel. Speedstone is not particularly what I wanted. We're going to have to think about that after upgrading the champion. Champion we do Decayer 2, of course. And let's look at the Umbra unit. The Overcorcher. We've never mastered Overcorcher. Every time I take at least one unit that we could Divinity Master. Or one card. I've already passed up a card that we could potentially Divinity Master, because it was terrible for this challenge. Overgorger is also terrible for this challenge, but it's not as bad as the Spike Driver Colony, because it's only one slot. This feels so dumb, but I'm going to take Overgorger with the hopes to Divinity Master it. Oh man. Let's look at an artifact. So Teeth of Gold does really nothing for us. Firestone Housing is quite good if we actually get to upgrade our units that much. Don't know if we're going to, but let's take it with the hope. Okay, so I don't really care for Speedstone. Not really. It's not bad, of course, it's just that we don't have any particular one that we would want to put it on. So I think we're going to re-roll without taking Speedstone, but I could take the other things. Heartstone, we probably want to put a Heartstone on Keeper of Echoes. Put a Heartstone on Keeper of Echoes. And then an Echo Stone, we could put that on anybody, and it would be fine. So an Echo Stone, we could put that on Overgorger, so it actually has some damage. Right. Let's put it on First of Kin, I think. Okay, now we re-roll. Endless. Also not the thing that we wanted for this particular challenge. That's really unfortunate. Strength Stone and Echo Stone? I mean, maybe we do a Strength Stone and an Echo Stone on Keeper of Echoes, so when we duplicate it we have all of those things? I guess so. This just does not feel as good as what I was hoping. Like, not even close to as good as I was hoping. Let's remove a Train Steward, because we really need to remove those at this point. And we haven't really done that at all. Should I purge another Train Steward? You know what? I think I should. Let's purge those Train Stewards so we end up with what we want in the center. Okay, I think this one went kind of poorly all of a sudden. Mark of Invasion. I mean, the ones in the center do almost nothing. So it's just the ones at the top. I can turn that on. We might just take the damage. Who cares? So, the ones in the center, of course, die. We got our Overcorcher in the center, not our Keeper of Echoes. How sad. Alright. The Spine Chief is also not big enough to deal with the Absolver at the bottom. How sad as well. We could put the Spine Chief at the top, but it doesn't really help. We could just do Echo Snare at the top. Yeah, let's do that. Echo Snare at the top, that kills all of those. And we're going to play Shard Soul Carver in front of our Spine Chief. It doesn't fit. We could put a Shard Soul Carver at the top. We will. Alright. I normally don't have to think about how big my units are when I've got Sketches of Salvation, right? Wait a minute, they had Reap, but I didn't have any Echoes. That was pointless. Alright. So I am going to play the Weight of Contrition, because we've got the Mind Collapse in hand. The Plink is quite bad, so we'll play it at the bottom just... Actually, there's kind of no reason to play the Plink, is there? It's slightly better than Fracture? No, that's not true either. Alright, so we're going to just play a Fracture at the bottom. Because we really want to kill the Collector. So, Fracture at the bottom. That kills the back one. Mind Collapse the Collector to kill it. Great. Now, why are things so bad in the center? Because we have an Overgorger, which doesn't do anything. Right. Right. Things in the center are actually not very good. I want to play a Fracture in the center on you. And then you still don't die. Which means I kind of want to play another Fracture in the center so that you die and don't give me the Weight of Contrition next turn. How sad. Okay, at least there's not too much at the bottom this turn. Hey, the Crucible extension might actually be good this time. How about that? So, let's play the Crucible extension. Let's play Abounding Echoes. So we could play Echo Snare. We could put that in the center, because it will do your etch, and it will take you out. I like that. It didn't take you out. How about that? Thought it would. Fracture you definitely. And then we could do a Plink down here to apply more to you, or we could do a Plink here so that you die this turn. Do it here so that you die this turn. Happy to not get the Weight of Contrition. So Proclamation kills the front one. Let's do the Forgotten Trade first. Yeah, do Forgotten Trade, because then we can play everything in my hand. Forgotten Trade at the bottom, and then Proclamation kills all of these at the bottom, and then we can play a Trained Steward somewhere, and then we can... I think I'm going to Plink up here just to give you some Inspire. The Trained Steward is going to go... It's not great at the bottom, but I'm not sure what else we put at the bottom. Let's put the Trained Steward at the bottom. And then Plink a couple times up here to give you some Inspire. And then, I don't know, fill the bottom up with Echoes. Okay, Respite. The Respite doesn't do anything for me, particularly, but we can play Immortal Trade on my champion, which I kind of like. We don't have a ton that we could play next turn if I do that, which is not great, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. And then we can Plink at the top to give you some more Inspire. Alright. Now then, I only have one Ember to spend, so we're going to Fracture the boss. You know? Not too bad. Oh right, the back two don't die until the very end. But we are taking up all of the regen. Okay, in the center we should be winning. Oh, we're not winning. It's because my center is not what I want it to be. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a Fracture, because that does a lot of damage. And then because you've got 14 Reap, anything that we play that has Infused does more damage. Okay. I think we still win. But this was a much worse battle. Because, you know, my Overgorger is terrible, for example. And the Train Stewards are starting to be much worse. Hey, Proclamation. Boom. Returned Soul is interesting. Ooh, Ambient Charge is not mastered. I'm gonna have to take that. And then, ooh, Ember Cache. I like Ember Cache. How about that? One of the few Umbra cards that I actually enjoyed taking. So we're going to go left because we need to really remove cards, and we do want to duplicate. So we're going to remove 2 Train Stewards so that there's a better chance that what's in the center is what we want. And then we're going to sacrifice. We might also do those other things, but we're going to sacrifice. We can't sacrifice the Overgorger because we're trying to master it. So we're sacrificing a Shard Soul Carver to the Keeper of Echoes. So the Keeper of Echoes is fully upgraded. And then we duplicate the Keeper of Echoes. Okay, so now we kind of have what we want in the center plus Overgorger, which means if we sacrifice the Shard Soul Carver to either Overgorger or First of Kin, then we'll have 4 units when we take out the Train Stewards. So that's kind of the plan. True Stone. True Stone could go on Proclamation. Value Stone just doesn't go on stuff. Don't really want the Value Stone. So, True Stone. We could put it on this Mind Collapse so that it does 20 damage. Not the Proclamation? Yeah, let's do that. So the Mind Collapse does 20 damage piercing. I mean, one of the Mind Collapses. I do have 2, and I should remember that they're not the same. Okay, you are particularly annoying. I don't think we want to turn on the Armor Emblem. We are at threat level high. Don't think we want to turn on the Armor Emblem. Okay. Sad. Sad, but I think that's the correct thing to do. Okay, our center is actually pretty decent this time. We've got a Keeper of Echoes. It's in front, which is not where I wanted it, but still, it's not too bad. My bottom, we can play the Spine Chief, of course. We can play Crucible Extension to add an Echo, which is important. And unfortunately, you're not dying. But if we apply Reap, you might die. You're not. Okay, well, it's not the great first turn, because we have these 2 things we can't play in our hand. 3 things, technically, with Deadweight. But the Deadweight is normal that we can't play it. Alright, you're not taking enough damage. I want to get you to take more damage. Bounding Echoes does use the Etch, so I am going to play Bounding Echoes up here. Now you're taking 85. It's better. We should definitely plink at the bottom. That means that you are dying. And then I think we should fracture you again, because we really want you to die. Man, I want the Collector to die too, but we need to take care of this. So we could plink here think we should plink here. This could also kill the Collector. If the Collector gets the Serrated Mandibles Reap, we kill the Collector. Why is the Collector not dying? Oh, because you're giving him armor. Collector gets away. Alright, my guy at the bottom is getting pretty hurt. We do not like. Okay, we got a few things to take care of the problem with the thing at the bottom getting hurt. Actually, we can take them all out with Mind Collapse, Proclamation. How about that? You at the top, we just need to play one thing that gives an echo, and you will die. So let's do the plink. Now you die. And then down here, I think we do what I said. We do Mind Collapse, and Proclamation. So Mind Collapse, Proclamation. Let's do a Fracture first so that we have another echo at the bottom. Okay. Great. My middle is not amazing yet, but it's doing okay. Ambient Charge. I don't mind playing Ambient Charge. Extract 3, though. So, we want to play... Let's play the Ember Cache. Because what we get in the Ember Cache has Consume anyway, so it's better to play before Ambient Charge. Okay, now we play Ambient Charge. And what do we get? I mean, some decent things. I don't mind the plink consuming. I do want to do Immortal Trade on you so that you gain some life. You don't gain like tons of life with Immortal Trade because you don't have tons of attack, but it's still good. Let's do it. Now, I do want something else that gives an echo at the bottom. Or Reap. We could just do the Reap. Sure. I mean, you're not dying yet, though. And you are gaining health, not losing health. So I want to play another Fracture here. Okay, that's better. I wanted to do something here, but I don't think we're going to, because I think it's much better to make sure that these guys at the bottom die or take lots of damage. You have... So we could do the Mind Collapse, which will give us some Ember. And that kills you. Let's do that. And then we've got a Forgotten Trade, which also gives Ember. We can even play the 2 plinks first. Yeah, so we can play the 2 plinks first. That will inspire these people. And then do Forgotten Trade, which allows me to play this Keeper of Echoes at the bottom, which is very nice. Alright, ready for the boss. Bring the boss on. The boss is scary. We play Excavated Ember. Well, we're going to do this here because there's an etch up here. Alright, do that again. Do that again. Don't know what we're going to do with all this Ember, but, you know, it's not like we get to keep it. We can play a Crucible Extension. We can play the Overgorger, but not down here. Not in the center. We'd have to play it at the top where we get Ember Drain. I don't think an Overgorger is worth Ember Drain. Alright, so we're not playing the Overgorger. We're going to play Fracture, Fracture, Crucible Extension. There we go. We're doing 276 damage. We applied a fair amount of Reap there. Okay, in the center, I know we've got Proclamation, which is a great place to start. Deal 200 damage just like that. And then we're already winning. But let's increase how well we're doing. Alright, and we win. So far, so good. There's going to be a time that I can't keep my champion alive at the bottom as well as I am, and when that time comes, things are going to go poorly, I think. Wurmkin Etchings. And Soul-Crushing Guilt. I think we really like Soul-Crushing Guilt. The Wurmkin Etchings gets back Consume cards, which are Forgotten Trade, Ember Cache, Echo Snare, Bounding Echoes. It's not bad. But I think I really like the Soul Crushing Guilt, and it is infused, which is really nice. And we're not taking these. Alright. There was not an Umbra card that time. Okay, so I really want to upgrade more units and remove more train stewards. So, we're going to the right. Get some money. Let's remove a couple of train stewards. That means that all the train stewards are gone. Now we just need to sacrifice a unit. Immortal Stone is not what you want. Not with this challenge. We can take a Heartstone. Putting a Heartstone on Overgorger is fine. It's fine. I mean, if it's in front, it's fine. I want the other things on the other things. So we're going to put the two small things on Overgorger. Make Overgorger slightly better. And then re-roll and get a large stone. There we go. The large stone we'll put on First of Kin. Yeah. And then, are we going to visit another Merchant of Steel in the future? Not next time. Not the following time, because I will want to remove more cards, the Plinks particularly. So, we're not going to visit another Merchant of Steel, which means let's put another Echo Stone on the First of Kin. And we're planning to sacrifice the Shard Soul Carver, and that means we can put another Strength Stone on the Overgorger. And then all of our units that we have, all 4 that we're planning to keep, have 3 stones in them. Great. Alright, let's move on. We even have 135 gold left over. Scouring Crest. Really hate the Scourge cards. Hopefully, we put our champion at the bottom, we will just avoid those. Hopefully. Okay. We did get the Overgorger in the center, but we only have good things. It's just that the First of Kin didn't end up there. So, I definitely play the Spine Chief at the bottom. And then I think we play the Fracture on the Quill Marksman and play the Ultimate Penance. I think that's the way. It doesn't kill the Quill Marksman. It's annoying, but I think I should still play the Ultimate Penance. Okay. Alright, we do get a Weight of Contrition, unfortunately. Alright, we have the Mind Collapse, which can kill this one at 0, so that's excellent. We really don't need to do much there. We could play a Plank in the center that might kill this back one and give me a morsel to play. It did. How about that? Even the morsel that gives lifesteal, which is kind of nice. Although I'm probably not going to play it. Probably not. Let's think about it. We're going to play the Plink, of course. And then we're going to play Mind Collapse, of course. And then, do we play Morsel Excavator to essentially heal you up, or do we play Fractures? I think we play Morsel Excavator. Okay. Okay, our front guy in the middle is dying. Don't like that. I do really like the Forgotten Trade. So we should play Forgotten Trade. Let's start with Echo Snare. Echo Snare at the bottom. And then we're going to do a Proclamation in the center, I guess? Well, you've got Spell Shield, so it doesn't do much in the center. We could play it at the bottom, it just kills the Alabaster Guardian, which is not the best. I guess we will play it at the bottom. But if we're playing it at the bottom, what we're going to do first is play a Fracture here. Fracture on the boss. And then we can play Forgotten Trade here to get more Ember. And then play the Ultimate Penance. We can kill the back one, which means we don't take as much damage. And then Proclamation kills the front. Okay. We have Ambient Charge. I tend to like it. Soul Crushing Guilt, I don't know if we care about that much. So what am I doing? I kind of want to put the Echo Snare at the top, just to deal more Reap to the boss. But we could do Reap to these guys here. Especially because you are hurt. I mean, you are hurt. It's just that when we do Inspire, you gain armor, and theoretically we could do that more. I guess we could do it now with the Soul Crushing Guilt. Sure. Give you armor and prevent you from taking that 6 damage. It's not a whole lot, but it's something. Now, if we play a couple of Plinks, then we can play Ambient Charge to draw 3. We will draw those 3. It's not too bad. Because then we can play the Ember Cache. I don't mind consuming those. I mean, 2 of them already consume. So Ambient Charge. And then we play Bounding Echoes. We could play the Echo Snare at the top to add more Reap to the boss. I think we do want to play Immortal Trade at the bottom again on our champion. And we're going to play the Ember Cache. So let's play the Ember Cache. Let's play the Immortal Trade so that our champion stays healthy. And then let's play Echo Snare on the boss. So the boss has more Reap. Great. Alright. We would like to do a lot of things at the bottom. If we start with a Plink, then we could do a Mind Collapse on that one to gain some Ember, and then we could play the Excavated Ember to gain even more Ember. So, let's start with Plink. And then we play Mind Collapse. That gives us Ember. Then we play this one. Actually, we don't have anybody that has Etch, because the one that we have Etch is actually in our draw pile. Alright. So we can Fracture the boss. We can play Immortal Trade again. I don't know that I want to do. Kind of want to do it, though. We could do it again. We could do it on you this time. So you've got some lifesteal. And then Immortal, the Ultimate Penance, and then Fracture. I kind of just want to hit the boss, right? Because these guys are going to be no problem. We're going to take them out. Okay. Soul-Crushing Guilt we could play. And that's one of the few things that we can play. But we can play Ambient Charge to perhaps draw Excavated Embers. Or Mind Collapse or other things. Let's do that first. So, Extract 3. I want to do that here. And we did get an Excavated Ember. Wonderful. So now we have 2 Ember to spend. I don't know if we want to daze the boss. The boss will remain dazed during the Relentless phase, but that doesn't do much. It allows you to get another hit in, which doesn't do much. So we have to do something down here so that these 2 in the back die. It could be anything. And if it could be anything, I think we play... I mean, we could play Proclamation at the bottom. We could play Proclamation in the center. But why? Alright. Maybe we don't play Proclamation. Let's play a Fracture on you. And that means that those die. And I kind of want to play another Fracture on the boss. So let's do that. There we go. Alright, that's all we're going to do this turn. Simple turn. We did have a lot of Ember draw, which causes you to have simpler turns sometimes. The Ultimate Penance. It's not so bad when we have lots of ways to gain Ember, you know? Which we do. We're going to play the Mind Collapse to gain some Ember. We're going to play an Excavated Ember to gain some Ember. Alright, Links, Fractures, Crucible Extension. We want to play the Crucible Extension here. With the slight hope that we'll get to play First of Kin down here. It's a very slight hope, by the way. Very slight hope. Fracture on the boss. I think we plink here so that we use the Inspire effects here. Because we're not going to be able to kill that one with the Reap. So, let's just get some Inspire effects. There we go. Alright, final wave. We're dealing almost nothing to the boss. We expected that. We can daze the boss if we wanted. We can Immortal Trade our own guy, which will cause us to deal more damage to the boss. We can't use Mind Collapse to gain energy this time. So I think we do Immortal Trade. I don't know if we do Soul Crushing Guilt, because I don't know if the Extract 3 is actually worse, because we're gaining a lot with the Reap. I guess it's probably not worse. Because we do add more Reap. It's just that we also get rid of some of our Echoes. And then we get to deal more damage. How much more damage? Some more damage? Not much. Alright, let's do Fractures. We're definitely going to do the Fractures. And then I think that the Soul Crushing Guilt is probably worse than not playing it. Because we really rely on that 80 Reap to do a lot of this damage. So, let's just do that. Causing the boss to be dazed being not a good plan is so weird. If we had drawn it this turn, of course, it would have been fine. But in any event, we win, so let's click end turn and win. Alright, what do we get? Kindle is fine. Symphony of the Soul is not mastered, so I should take it. I typically like Perfect Insanity, but I don't think this is one, because we extract too often for Perfect Insanity to be that great. So yeah, let's try to master another card. Whatever. Do I want Fell's Remorse? It's getting better to get Fell's Remorse, but I still want Herzl's Compound. Okay, we're definitely going to the left here, because I want to remove more cards. Let's take the money. Let's do our champion upgrade. This is easy. We're going to do the Decayer 3. You know, the 140 health is a lot, but I think we're going to come to a point where our champion doesn't survive the whole battle. And that will be a problem. Friendly units enter with Lifesteal 2. Ooh, Carving Koriska. Ho ho, that one's really good with our deck. Let's take that one. Okay, well, that was an easy decision. We don't have enough even if we took Divine Boons to buy another one, so that's done. Let's remove... I want to remove the Plinks. The Plinks are the worst. The Fractures are better than Plinks. The Echo Snares would be a lot better if they were infused, of course. But we can't change that. So yeah, let's just take out 2 Plinks. I'm worried about taking out infused cards, because we rely very heavily on drawing infused cards, but we'll see. So, Ancient Hate. Do we have any spells that care? We have 2 Plinks, which we're not really using for damage anyway, so let's turn it on. Actually, we've got Proclamation. Proclamation cares a little bit. Oh well, we'll turn it on. Alright, what did we not get in the center? We didn't get a Soul Carver in the center. So one of the things that we could do... Well, we can't play all of these cards, can we? Right. Okay, we can't play all of these cards, so we're playing the Spine Chief at the bottom. The Shard Soul Carver would be great to play at the bottom later. And to prepare for that, we're going to play Crucible Extension at the bottom. Crucible Extension. We're getting 50 damage because of the Wilt Wings. And we're going to get even more because we're going to kill that Wilt Wing. How sad. But this is 50 damage that is not going to my next floor. Or 60 damage that is not going to this floor, which is important. Okay, how are we doing in the center? We're doing damage, but not enough. We've got a Mind Collapse, which is nice. We've got Proclamation, which doesn't really do anything at this point, with what decisions we've made. What it does do, it actually adds as many echoes as it removes because of Carving Koriska. So it actually gains us an Ember, is what it does. That's kind of cool. And then Extract 5. We're not going to play that card. I'm trying to think of where we played Mind Collapse. Because we could play it down here to kill this one. That's probably going to be what I do. And I don't think the Proclamation matters very much. So, where do we play the Proclamation then? I've got to play something down here. We're going to play Proclamation down here. Right? We could play it here. Let's play it here. Okay. So, you need one more reap. That should be easy to accomplish. We want to play more cards. Let's play a Fracture here. We could actually play the Symphony of Soul this turn, because if we play one more card down here, then we could play it. How odd. I think we are going to play the Immortal Trade down here, so I might as well do that now. And then I want to play Mind Collapse down here, so maybe we do Symphony of the Soul. It does double the lifesteal. Oh, that's actually nice. Alright. So now Ember Cache on this floor, so we get the Inspires. And it makes it so that the Collector dies. And then Fracture... kind of want to Fracture you. But also, we could just Fracture here to do more Inspires. Let's Fracture here to do more Inspires. And then the Mind Collapse, we actually didn't need the Mind Collapse for the Ember. But we will use it to get rid of 20 damage on my champion. Okay, that's a lot of damage coming in my champion again. Even with your lifesteal, you're getting a lot of damage. But we can play Reap. There's no reason not to do the Echo Snare down here, I think. So let's do that. Actually, there's one reason, which is your Etch. It's not important. Let's play it down here. So, Bounding Echoes is excellent to play. That increases this Mind Collapse in a great way. Let's do that. And then I guess we play Ambient Charge next. It consumes those spells. That's not the worst. We're not going to play the Soul Crushing Guilt this turn anyway. So yeah, sure. Let's play it. Now, we can play Forgotten Trade if we need to. But do we need to? I guess we kind of want to. And we could even play it here, which is nice. Where are we going to play the Mind Collapse? We're going to play the Mind Collapse on you right now. Okay, that's a good one to do. Bam. Next. We play Fractures and Planks here to make this floor better. Forgotten Trade now also makes this floor better. Alright, don't play the Soul Crushing Guilt yet. It has Consume, but that's not too bad. Because if we're playing it, we're probably playing it on the boss, maybe. Alright, we do have another Mind Collapse. This one kills on 0. So what does that mean that we do? We could play Crucible Extension Fracture at the bottom. Let's do that. Crucible Extension Fracture. And then we can play the Mind Collapse to kill this one. We can play Symphony of the Soul again to double your lifesteal again. We could use it to double armor on one of these guys, but I don't know. It feels like it might be better to do double the lifesteal. We can do the Excavated Ember first, though. Oh, another Ambient Charge? Alright, let's play another Ambient Charge. What are we drawing? I don't know. Could be all sorts of things. Let's play it. We got a Mind Collapse that consumes. I guess that's not too bad because there's not many waves remaining. I like that the Plink consumes. Let's double your buffs again. The Soul Crushing Guilt we're not going to play this turn. I think we will play the Mind Collapse that consumes. So let's do... How much do I care about fracturing you? Not much, because these guys crush you, so let's just focus on making them better. But I will Mind Collapse down here to prevent 5 damage from hitting my champion, because I think that's nice. We want my champion to be gaining health a little bit more than it is. It has a lot of lifesteal, it just doesn't have a lot of health. Which also kind of means that it dies this turn. My champion dying this turn is not what I wanted. Oh, but we can play a Shard Soul Carver in front. Oh. Okay. So that means that the Shard Soul Carver dies instead of my champion. And I don't think we can prevent you from dying. Not really. There's a lot of enemies here, and we can't deal direct damage, not even with Proclamation. We will play Proclamation. I guess we're going to play it here so that we get the Inspire up here. That's a lot of Inspire. Do we play Immortal Trade? We don't have a lot of cards left in the deck. I mean, we actually just don't have a lot of cards left in the deck. So how bad is Immortal Trade? You know? We should probably put it on something up here, though. Like, the Overgorger. Sure, the Overgorger is going to heal up over the next 2 turns. Yeah, let's do that. And then I definitely want to fracture you, so that you get a little bit more hurt. I kind of want to fracture you as well, so that you die. There we go. Okay. That causes all of those guys to die. You cannot possibly survive, so don't worry about saving you. You'll die in the next floor, which means let's just make this floor better. Okay. My champion has a lot of lifesteal, but not a lot of life. And we drew Soul Crushing Guilt at the wrong time. Actually, you know what? We did not draw it at the wrong time. Because we want to draw it when the boss is here. Right. Okay. Well, in that case, we're going to play Ambient Charge. Because we don't really care about those things. Or we could not play Ambient Charge. No, let's play Ambient Charge. Should have played it in the center, though. We can Fracture up here. We can keep that Fracture. No reason not to keep that Fracture, right? So let's keep it. Play a Fracture here. Let's play Immortal Trade. We could play Immortal Trade on the Overgorger again. Or we could play it on something else. But no, the Overgorger is what we'd want to play it on. It's just that if we do that, we'll have Ember Drain 3 and we won't get to do anything next turn. Let's not do it this time. But the Proclamation just gives me Ember. The Symphony of the Soul, we could double the lifesteal, or we could double one of these armors. I think we should double the lifesteal. And then we could still play this Fracture if we wanted. Let's not. Let's play the Mind Collapse, though. It's not going to be useful during the boss, so it's fine to consume it. Okay, there's the boss. Now, we die very quickly, as it stands. But we have Ambient Charge. Kind of don't want Ambient Charge, because I want to draw Soul Crushing Guilt next turn. So if we want this to be our next turn, we should not play Ambient Charge. Sure, we won't play Ambient Charge then. I feel like we could play a Mortal Trade on the second floor this turn, though, and it'd be fine. Because we have so much extract that will give me Ember. Okay, let's do that then. So the Immortal Trade is going to go here. And we're going to play some Fractures on the boss. This will also cause those two to die, which is very nice. So. Alright. Only doing 100 damage, but you know what? The bottom floor is not where our guys really are. We are already winning. Our front guy doesn't even die. How about that? So we didn't need to do any of this. Not even the Soul Crushing Guilt. Which I'm still going to play. Soul Crushing Guilt. There we go. Click end turn and win. Okay. We got a lot of money. Infused Extract 1. Deal 5 damage twice. You know, Revenge of the Damned is really good with Carving Koriska. It doesn't do a ton, but it does do some things. Let's take it. Just having good Inspire cards is good. Don't think we want any of these. Yeah, don't want these. Alright, what are we going to do here? We could go to the right and duplicate. We don't really need the Merchant of Steel, so we're not going to the right. We're going to the left. So, take some Pyre Health. Look at these three things. Divine Temple has a Purge Stone, an Extreme Stone. Extreme Stone could go on Proclamation. I like that. Probably going to do that. We have to do the Engage back. In fact, let's do that first. The Shard Soul Carver is being sacrificed to the First of Kin. Alright, now we don't have a random unit floating around in our deck. And we're at 115 pack shards. Stackstone. Stackstone on Soul Crushing Guilt is really nice. Let's do that. I should really have looked at the Merchant of Trinkets first, though. When a card with Consume is played, gain an Echo. That's not bad. Let's take this and reroll. Fog Slime, reroll. Didn't really want Mask of Penumbra. Trader's Quill is fine. Lost Luggage is fine. But I could do without those. Which means, what are we doing in the Merchant of Magic? We could take an Ember Stone and reroll. The Surge Stone could go on a Plink, so that it just consumes. But I was probably going to remove the Plinks with the Unstable Vortex. Because what else would I remove with the Unstable Vortex? Yeah, let's just remove the Plinks. So Plink gone, and Plink gone. Now, Surge Stone is not valuable. Ember Stone is very valuable. I like putting that on Ember Cache. It could go on Soul Crushing Guilt. Could go on Revenge of the Damned. A lot of good places, but I think I'm going to put it on Ember Cache. And then reroll. Permafrost. I like Permafrost on the one that does Dazed. The Soul-Crushing Guilt. Yeah, I really like that. Let's do that. And then an Ember Stone and a Power Stone. Power Stone could go on Proclamation or Revenge of the Damned. Remember that we do have an Extreme Stone here that we could do too. Extreme Stone goes really well on Proclamation. Let's do that on Proclamation. 130 pack shards. Let's not take any more pack shards. So, Power Stone could go on Revenge of the Damned or the Mind Collapse. Both of those are kind of nice. Let's think about the Ember Stone. Ember Stone. You know, any of them are pretty good. What if we put it on the Revenge of the Damned with the Power Stone? Great. More zero-cost cards that give us Ember when we play them. Alright, I think we're ready. Let's go. So, you do sap my units, which I don't like. But honestly, my units are somewhat resistant from sap. Now, Revenge of the Damned can kill that one. How very nice. Also, the Mind Collapse can kill that one. Alright. Actually a pretty good first turn. The Crucible Extension, we no longer care about the capacity gain at all, by the way. It's just an infused card that costs 1. Alright. Well, Spine Chief is going to go at the bottom. We're going to play... We can't play Symphony of the Soul this turn. And we're not going to play Soul-Crushing Guilt this turn. So what do we play and where do we play them? We're going to play the Mind Collapse. We're going to play the Revenge of the Damned. I think making our middle floor better faster is probably good. So let's do the Mind Collapse, or actually the Revenge of the Damned here. Revenge of the Damned here because it does the infused effects. Right, and then we can do the Crucible Extension in the middle floor, because I don't really care about giving you, what is it called? Reap all that much. So let's do the Crucible Extension here. Let's do the Mind Collapse on you. And then the Symphony of the Soul we can actually play in the center. How about that? I didn't realize we would get so much echoes this turn, but we will do so. We'll double the armor on you. And we could even Dazed Seraph, which is pointless. But we could. We could if we wanted to. Let's keep the Soul-Crushing Guilt for the future. It will be good in the future, I'm sure. Okay, this turn is probably going to be a worse turn. Although we do have some good stuff. Like, the Mind Collapse can take out one of those guys. And we've got... I mean, we don't have to play Forgotten Trade, but we have it if we want. Let's definitely play Bounding Echoes. Let's play that... I mean, we need some echoes at the bottom, so we can play Proclamation. So sure, let's do Bounding Echoes at the bottom. Then we do Proclamation, which kills the front one. Is there any reason to hit Seraph with Proclamation? Because we can. We could do Fracture Proclamation on Seraph. That's not bad. I might do that instead of killing that one, because, you know, that one does 16 damage, who cares? Whereas doing some damage to Seraph this turn seems kind of nice. Alright. Soul-Crushing Guilt we don't need to play. We're going to play a Mind Collapse down here. Let's play a Fracture in the center just to beef up our own guys. Because Forgotten Trade has Consume, I don't want to play it this turn. So let's just play the Mind Collapse to kill one of these, so we take less damage. We're taking, 46 damage instead. We could play Soul Crushing Guilt to Dazed You to protect 30 damage. That's not terrible, and we will draw it again. Let's do that. Alright, we did not draw a way to take out those guys this turn, which is sad. But we did get Immortal Trade. It's just that we get sapped, so it doesn't do as much as it normally does. Well, let's start out with an Ember Cache and an Ambient Charge. Yeah. Ambient Charge, Extract 3, Draw 3, Apply Consume. What are we going to consume? An Echo Snare. That's perfectly fine. And then 2 more unknown cards. The Proclamation I was not happy with being consumed. The Deadweight, doesn't get consumed. So, Echo Snare we definitely play down here. And we play another Echo Snare down here. The Proclamation we're going to not play because it now has Consume on it. And all of those guys are dying anyway, so why use it for 11 damage? Prevent 11 damage? I'm thinking about just doing Fracture on the boss instead of dealing with the center. Because the boss having tons and tons of Fracture, it's pretty cool. We could even do Immortal Trade on my champion. You know what? Let's do it. You don't gain a lot of health, but you gain some. And the boss is taking 880 damage this turn. Bam. Alright, this turn my bottom guy probably dies though. We don't have a whole lot to save him anymore. We'd have to kill both of these in order to save him. We do have one thing that can do that. Let's do these consume cards here first. So we got a Soul Crushing Guilt. And a Revenge of the Damned. Oh man. Can we save our champion again? We can. How about that? Alright, well, let's do it then. So, kill you. And then we're going to play a Mind Collapse to kill you at the end of the turn. In the meantime, let's play... We can even play Soul Crushing Guilt to do even more. Yeah, let's do that. So, Soul Crushing Guilt, we're going to play it on one of you. And then that means that we're going to take even less damage in our champion. But let's play the other things now. So, Crucible Extension goes here. Symphony of the Soul is going to double somebody's armor. I guess the First of Kin's armor is going to be doubled this time. And then Fracture twice on the boss. Alright, 372 damage against the boss this turn, on a floor that I have an empty space on my side. I'm surprised my champion's still alive. It's very helpful that it's still alive, but I didn't expect it to be still alive. And this turn would be very surprising, because we'd have to kill 2 of these in order to save the champion, which is very unlikely. It could happen because we have the Proclamation that we could play, or the Soul Crushing Guilt again. So, it's possible. Let's start with Excavating Ember here. And we didn't get it, so Our champion is dying this turn. That's fine. I don't like it, but it's fine. We could play Immortal Trade on the front one here, which will probably make it so that we have no fear whatsoever of losing. I'm going to keep the Forgotten Trade because we have Ember Drain effects. And then I do want to start killing the ones down here that are making the most damage against my guys. So I am going to play the Mind Collapse down here, but we're going to play Fractures on the boss. So the boss is taking, 1,284 damage this turn. Nice. And then Mind Collapse you. And then, I think the boss is gonna die soon. Just because of fractures, or reap, I should say. We got Proclamation, which we could do against the boss. I'm gonna do that. Proclamation on the boss. Bam. And then I'm pretty sure we can kill the boss this turn. Let's play Ambient Charge somewhere else. Like here. Ambient Charge here. Draw 3 spells. Apply Consume. And it looks like Fracture on the boss will do it. Alright. Well then. Nobody's dying in the center because Seraph dies first. How about that? End turn and win. We defeated Seraph the Temperant with Fracture. With Reap, I mean. That does not work against the Last Divinity. But I think we've got plenty of things that do work against the Last Divinity. So, let's go. Again, the problem is going to be that my champion dies at the bottom pretty quickly. That is going to be a problem basically every time at this point. But until he dies, he's going to do some things. We can't even play the Ambient Charge this turn. How sad. So we can play a Spine Chief and Fracture, and that's basically it. That's so sad. I want to play a Fracture here so that my guys get better. I guess we could play 2 Fractures here and then be able to play Ambient Charge. So I'm going to do that. Because I don't like what's happening this turn. I would like to make it better. So Fracture, Fracture, play the Forgotten Trade now so that we have more Ember. And then play Ambient Charge. We got a Fracture and an Echo Snare. How sad, really. How sad. Well, we have to play something down here. Let's play... I guess it doesn't matter too much what we play down here. Let's play the Echo Snare. Because that kills those two. And then if we stop playing things at the bottom, it might be good. So that my champion doesn't get too much. But we could play Echo Snare here and a Fracture here. That will improve all of my guys even more. Okay. I think my middle floor is doing just fine. My bottom floor is doing terrible right now. Let's hope that changes. But it's doing terrible right now. So, we have got Proclamation when people have Spell Shield. Sad. We've got Symphony of the Soul and Immortal Trade together, which, we could do. The Soul Crushing Guilt we might want to play on this Light Wings. Or we could play it on the Last Divinity. What if we mostly ignore the bottom? Probably not going to work great if we just ignore the bottom. But the center is going to be the main thing that we do. So what if we mostly ignore the bottom? I want to play Immortal Trade on the Overgorger. So let's do that. Right. That was not actually that great, because it makes you die immediately. Okay, well, we wanted to play Soul Crushing Guilt somewhere anyway, and playing it against the Last Divinity in the center is very helpful. So I think we're going to do that. And then the Proclamation doesn't do anything at the bottom, so we play it in the center. It does a lot in the center. And then Symphony of the Soul doubles your lifesteal, which is very nice. So I think we're going to do that here. Okay. I think that's a pretty good set of things to do in the center this turn. Let's do some things at the bottom so that this Lightwing dies. We don't have to do a lot. In fact, how much do we have to do? Because you do Reap 6 every time I play something. If I play 2 Fractures, then that guy dies. Okay. Let's do the Fractures on you. And then we could even do the Crucible Extension so that we do some more damage to those two. Or we could do the Crucible Extension here because it does more here. Let's do it here because it does more here. Okay, and my champion probably dies next turn. Which means we have to deal with the things that deal a lot of damage at the bottom elsewhere. Okay, yeah, my champion definitely dies this turn. It dies from just this guy dying, in fact, which is really sad. And there's no way for me to stop that. Yep, no way for me to stop that. So, we're going to do things here. We're going to do a Bounding Echoes, of course. We're going to do Revenge of the Damned down here can take out the Conduit Redirector. Or the Mind Collapse can do that just as well. So we might as well do the Revenge of the Damned on you. And the Mind Collapse on the Conduit Redirector. Okay, so what does that mean that we're doing here? Let's do Ember Cache. Let's do... We do the Fracture now, it's fine. So let's do a Fracture. No reason to do it on anybody but the boss, so even though the boss loses it, it's still better to do it against the boss. And now we can do things here. I want to do this Mind Collapse here to kill you. And then I want to kill you, but I don't know if Mind Collapse is how I want to kill you. Revenge of the Damned we could play against the boss. And then Symphony of the Soul we could double your lifesteal again. That hopefully means that you never die. And then Mind Collapse to kill this one, which does kill my champion. Very sad. Alright, champion gone. That was pretty fast for the champion to die in the Last Divinity battle. But to be fair, we kind of knew it was going to happen. Okay. Proclamation is great. What 3 spells would we consume? Those are perfectly fine spells to consume with Ambient Charge. So let's do Proclamation first. Let's do... We could do Immortal Trade again. Don't think we need any more lifesteal at this point. Let's do the Ambient Charge next. So, Crucible extension, we play here, get rid of it from the deck. We really don't need it. Is there any reason to play anything down here? I mean, the soul-crushing guilt we could use to Dazed You, because we might not be able to kill you. I mean, I guess that's worthwhile. Dazed You. And then Fracture, 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 all against the boss. It's so weird to play Fracture against the Last Divinity. And then I think I will play Immortal Trade. And who do we play it on? I guess there's nobody to play it on except Overgorger. But we're playing it mainly for the Inspire effects. Okay, you're not dying. Kinda knew that might happen. We've got Immortal Trade again that we could play. Might not play it this time, actually. Proclamation at the bottom seems useful. Revenge of the Damned... don't know what to do with. Proclamation at the bottom seems useful. Let's do that. Now... we could play Symphony of the Soul if we really wanted to. Although we could just play Fracture and Revenge of the Damned. We play Fracture on you. Then you're still not dying, but you're closer. Let's play Revenge of the Damned on you. Now you're very close to dying. And you've got 5 dazed, so my Pyre will kill you. Okay, so if we play Symphony of the Soul, we will lose some of our attack value. I don't think that's a bad thing. So I'm going to play it. And we're just going to, you know, double your lifesteal. Ridiculous. Alright. And then, do we play Immortal Trade? I mean, we're definitely going to draw Excavated Ember next turn, so yes. I could have played that before doubling, and it would have been better. Okay, so you're not dying, but you are dazed, so who cares? Everything's dying in the center, that's great. Let's play Excavated Ember. We certainly don't want to consume that one. So, we don't play the Ambient Charge when that's there. Excavated Ember again. Okay. Is there anything here that we really don't want to consume? The Proclamation? The Proclamation. Let's not play Ambient Charge this turn. So, Excavated Ember. And then we're going to play Soul Crushing Guilt on the boss once again. Daze the boss forever. I could have played it on the Pyre Wings, that would have been useful too. And then let's play... who do we want to hit the most here? I mean, the Pyre Wings is what we want to hit the most, I guess. Let's hit the Pyre Wings, for some. And then we're going to Mind Collapse you to kill you, because that seems useful. And then we're going to play a Fracture in the center to beef up our guys. Because, you know, 200 and 300 damage is not enough for me. Now, this one here is the worst one, I think, for us. Yeah, and it does seem kind of bad. If we do Revenge of the Damned on the front one and then Proclamation, then we kill the front one. And that means that we can deal damage to the next couple. So I'm going to do that. We don't really care about those, particularly. We'll kill this one, no problem. So, Revenge of the Damned here. Primarily to get rid of your spell shield. Then we do Proclamation. And now more of you are dying. We are going to have no Ember next turn, which is kind of sad, because of this Pyre Wings. But it doesn't look like we care too much next turn, so it's not too bad. I think I want to play... We could play all of these cards, honestly. We don't have many cards in our deck anymore. Alright. You know? I don't think we're going to play Immortal Trade. Because even though I'm not going to have Ember next turn, I want Ember the turn after that. But we can play Symphony of the Soul if we want. So I think I will. And then Fracture and Mind Collapse. One of the Mind Collapses could kill that one, I guess, just to get rid of it right now. I'm fine with that. And then Fracture and Mind Collapse the boss. Okay, well, I think we win. I think we have nothing else that's going to come that's going to prevent me from winning. We have a Mind Collapse that we can play, which will give me Ember if it killed something, which it won't. Oh. How sad. We could do Ambient Charge. It has a chance to draw Proclamation, but I no longer really care. So let's do Ambient Charge. We're going to do it here. So we did get Proclamation, but like I said, I no longer care. So, Revenge of the Damned can actually kill one of these. So, we can do that. Shall we play something that costs one first, like a Fracture? Okay. So now, Revenge of the Damned kills one of these. The one that I want to kill the most is one of the Wiltwings. Then, the Mind Collapse doesn't quite kill one, but if we play a Proclamation first, then we gain an Ember, and then Mind Collapse does kill one. Great. And then, see no reason not to do Soul Crushing Guilt on the boss again? Yeah, alright. And then we can play Symphony of the Soul and Immortal Trade. Sure. You know? Oh, we don't have enough, we could play Immortal Trade first. Right. Sure. Which is the better thing to have higher lifesteal anyway. Alright, we've got 142 lifesteal on our front unit. I think we win. Therefore. Alright, next turn is the Relentless turn. We have a Mind Collapse, which can kill one of those, which is great. Let's do that. Then we have a Vengeful Shard, which I can play. We could Ambient Charge to get those. Perfectly happy with that. We can't do that now, though. Oh. We actually need some echoes. Right. Every time I play Ambient Charge, I'm losing out the things that give me echoes. So maybe we don't play Ambient Charge anymore. Fracture on the boss. We could play Soul Crushing Guilt on the boss again. Why not? And that allows me to play the Vengeful Shard. Okay. Next turn, we're going to have a Weight of Contrition, which might actually cause me to take damage. Oh, we don't, because that guy died down there. Alright, and then we very easily win. Very easily. Let's play the Vengeful Shard so we don't take damage. Alright, Steward Stack. Another Expert Challenge complete. How about that? I am on a roll. And I even chose the Umbra as one of my clans. when morsels cost 2 to play. Oh, right. That was great. I do think the Wurmkin are particularly good with Sketches of Salvation, to be fair. I think the Wurmkin have typically better, less rare units to use. Oh, and we did Divine Master 3 cards. How about that? 3 cards, Divinity Mastered, bam. Reap applied 1853. Alright, you know, the Wurmkin are still the ones that need the most masteries. And we know that one of the common ones that's missing is the Spike Driver colony. And I meant common as in it's common to all the clans, not that it's common in rarity. The Spike Driver colony is one of the ones down here that we have not mastered. Because we saw it this time and we did not master it. Alright, our Reap applied was much, much higher. And at this point, I've used the level 3 upgrade for every champion. This run marks my 21st clan combination with a max Covenant rank win, and that includes all combinations with the Wurmkin as the primary clan. I've completed my 18th expert challenge and Divinity mastered a whopping 3 new cards. Only 11 more to Divinity master. On the right, instead of showing enemies this time, I am showing champion upgrades. Because this run I have finally experienced every champion upgrade in Monster Train. All 36 level 3 upgrades, which if you include levels 1 and 2, amount to 108 total champion upgrades. The last one to be checked off my list was the Decayer 3 of the Spine Chief, focusing on Reap. My most commonly picked level 3 upgrade is Glutton 3 of the Penumbra, which I've taken a total of 5 times. On the left, I am featuring 2 of the 3 cards I Divinity Mastered this time. The Overgorger was the strangest minion I had, since I never fed him a morsel, and yet somehow was very effective in the Last Divinity battle. Symphony of the Soul, in addition to being mastered, also reaches my 10 battle threshold. I often ended up doubling the amount of lifesteal on a unit, which is very effective. For artifacts, I am featuring 2 that went very well with my champion. Decayed Decoy reaches my 10 battle threshold, and it increased Reap every time it was applied. Serrated Mandibles added Reap to random enemies whenever I gained an Echo. These worked very well together, simply adding lots of Reap. Check out my tracking sheet, link in the video description, new episodes every Saturday, and thanks for watching.